to another episode of Bryno's Brews, the show where I drink and evaluate that wonderful nectar of the gods we like to call beer. This week on the show, we've got a beer from the Hoppin Frog Brewery in Akron, Ohio. This is their Cafe Silk Porter with coffee added, weighing in at 6.2% alcohol by volume. Reviewed a handful of coffee-related products on this show before. This one says Cafe Silk Porter, so I'm assuming maybe there's a little bit of milk or lactose involved to make it a little bit more creamy. But you can't judge a beer by its label, and I'm not going to do so here. Before I get to the judging, though, we got a scoring system we use on this show. Let's go over that real quick.
Scoring for Bryno's Brews is based loosely on the scoring system used by the Beer Judge Certification Program. In our system, a beer can earn a maximum of 10 points. 1 point can be awarded for appearance, 2 points for aroma, 4 points for flavor, 1 point for mouthfeel, and 2 points can be awarded for a beer's overall impression. And finally, partial points can be awarded in any category.
So that's how scoring works, so let's crack open this Cafe Silk Porter, see how it stacks up. Nice little pooch there from the bottle. So let's get started with scoring. First, 1 point for the appearance. Let's see how it goes. Not too much head, but that's an okay thing with a porter. Okay, nice little tan head there. Small, that's what you expect. I can get some of the aroma right away. Can I see through it? No, I cannot. Well, I can't see anything wrong with this beer visually, so let's get things started real quick. 1 point for the appearance for Cafe Silk Porter. Up next, 2 points on the line for the aroma, everything that's pleasing to the nose. Let's see how good this beer smells. Oh, I can smell the coffee right away. I'm also smelling the good amounts of malty notes that you would get from the porter, both roasted and traditional. The bitterness I'm smelling is probably the coffee because you don't get roastiness from a porter, at least not too much. The natural malt tends to shine a little bit more in porters. But this smells all right. That coffee scent is really, really coming through. Just the right amount of maltiness, not too much since this is not an imperial porter. Definitely what I would expect from a porter and from a porter with coffee added. So, out of 2 possible points, this gets the full 2. Now here's where the rubber meets the road. 4 points on the line for flavor. It looks good, it smells good, gives me some encouragement. So, here we go, 4 points on the line for Cafe Silk Porter. Bottoms up. Coffee flavor is kind of subtle. It's coming through a little bit more on the aftertaste, but that's actually not a bad thing. Not getting a whole lot of the maltiness though, at least not initially. The maltiness is pretty light. I mean, normally I would expect one of the darker beers like the stouts and the porters to have a rich sort of maltiness to it, but I'm not getting a whole lot of that here. I don't want to say I don't mind it though. I'd like it to be a little bit more, but that's just me personally. My mouth maybe. I'm trying to find a good amount of malty flavor in this porter, and I'm not getting a whole lot of it. I think the coffee flavor is overpowering it just a little bit. It's not, but the coffee flavor is not, itself is not overpowering, but it's overpowering any malty presence that you would get from a porter like this. I'll find it. I'll try my best to find it. Oh, this is frustrating me a little bit. I'm trying like hell to find some good malty notes, some good malty presence in this porter, and I'm not finding it. Maybe because I've been spoiled by drinking too many imperial porters on this show that does have a naturally rich maltiness to it that I'm expecting is from a lighter porter. Again, the coffee is the star of this porter here. And again, there's almost no hop flavor to speak of at all, which is what you'll want in a porter. I'd kind of like for there to be a little bit more maltiness in a porter. Just gives it more a full-bodied feel to it, but I'll get to the body and the mouthfeel a little bit later. But flavor-wise, Maltiness is kind of weak. I think I'm going to take away a few points just because I'm not getting that maltiness that I like. But it's still very good flavor, though. Score I've got in my mind, I think I'll settle on this one. Out of 4, I'm going to give this 3.35. All right, nearing the home stretch, 1.4 mouthfeel. I don't have a score in mind for this yet, but I'll evaluate that right now. Here we go. The carbonation is perfect. Absolutely appropriate for a porter. Don't want too much. There's not too much here. Body is good. It's appropriate. It tastes kind of clean. I don't want to say it tastes kind of clean. It tastes a little on the weak side because it's not an imperial porter. A little bit on the clean side. I think if the coffee flavor wasn't there, this will be sort of light in body and more clean. But the coffee is sort of interfering in that. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Maybe a gulp will help. I think the body's perfect. Now, with that gulp, I didn't feel it was as light as I thought it was before. It's kind of more, it's not heavy though. It's not light though. It's just kind of in the middle, which I think is perfect. So the body's good. The carbonation's good. Feels good in the mouth. I'm giving this the full point. And now to summarize, 2 points for overall impression. Like I said during flavor, I think the only thing that's making this beer not as good as I would like it is that the malty flavor of it, the malty feeling of it, is not as pronounced as I think it should be in a porter. But having said that, it's still really, really good. If you're a fan of coffee, if you're a fan of coffee-flavored beers, you will love this beer. I've said it about plenty of other coffee beers, usually coffee stouts. This is the first coffee porter I think I've had on this show ever. I think it's worth the money. I think it's worth trying at least once. I don't want to say that this would be a good dessert beer, because I think dessert beers need to be a little bit more sweet. This one is not entirely sweet, but then again, at the same time, some people like to have coffee after meals, so I think this would be a good after dinner beer. Even if it's not sweet, it's got that coffee bit to it, which kind of falls into the dessert category. Got a score in mind for the overall impression. It's not going to get the full 2. Again, going back to the flavor part, I think if the malt was a little bit more pronounced, it would get higher score. Having said it, I still like this. So out of 2 possible points, I'm going to give this 1.75. I have done the math, and if my math is correct, then Cafe Silk Porter from the Hoppin Frog Brewing Company in Akron, Ohio gets 9.1 points out of a possible 10. Highly respectable score. One of my champion products. It definitely deserves that high score. It wouldn't be a beer that I would go to all the time and such, but because it's not the cheapest beer at all. This bomber was about $6. It's definitely worth it if you want to try it at least once. It's definitely worth it if you're a fan of coffee. It's definitely a good beer to have at a party. It's a good beer. No two ways about it. It's a good beer, one you should definitely try. Well, that will do it for another episode of Bryno's Brews here on Bryno's World. I want to thank you all very much for watching. If you've had this before and had a different experience than I did, leave a comment down below telling me what you thought about it. Or if you got any other ideas for beers that you're trying to show, also leave a comment down below. Otherwise, don't forget to like and share this video, and subscribe to Bryno's World if you haven't already. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and have yourself a good one.